So my name's Hronakis and I graduated in 2014. So when I was in high school, I was definitely encouraged to be one of those all-rounders. I was doing everything, academics, sports, music, lots of music really, so all the extracurriculars and everything else in between. From high school going to university, it's incredibly different. There's no one there to hold your hand and you've got all this freedom. And so you really have to find a way to be your own leader and to discover what you want to do and how to prioritize your time. And so I think the first year of university, I had to really sort of figure out what I was doing. I did 8 different subjects from 8 different majors and I had no idea where I was going. And with that, I just found my passion. I ended up doing cultural and media studies in my bachelor's degree, but when I finished, I didn't think that I would actually want to do that as a career. And so I ended up applying for the Master of Teaching and I entered that course and that's what I'm doing now. So now I've graduated and I've been working as a kindergarten teacher full-time since 2020. I guess all aspects of adulthood, having to be responsible for everything, but then also that freedom of choice. And so adulthood allowed me to earn my own money, be responsible for my own choices, and also to travel. I think travel was what was most impactful for me between that 18 to 25 gap. I think the most difficult and exciting part of it is that you never know what's going to happen every day. When you're working with such young children, you have to be really flexible. And so I've had to be really adaptive and flexible with all different types of diversity. I've worked with children that don't speak any English. I've worked with children from trauma backgrounds, from Indigenous backgrounds. And so adjusting your practice for their needs and for their learning outcomes has always been, something you have to be open to and can be challenging at times because you're trying to balance the needs of all the children in your class. And sometimes they vary quite differently. I definitely would want the industry to be taken more seriously in that I think a lot of people view early childhood simply as sort of play and babysitting, but really it's so crucial to children's brain development and then later on to outcomes for society. I had started this sort of as like a passion project at the end of 2019. Unbeknownst to me, I was coming into a lot of free time in 2020. And so that's sort of what pushed through this idea. I really just wanted to try something. I was working in my industry, which always felt really safe in that I work with my mother. And so I really wanted to continue to challenge myself and to grow. And so over that time, I was researching all different things that were possible here in Australia, financially possible for me in terms of how much I was willing to invest. And so I came across this potential idea. I wanted it to tie into my cultural heritage and my background, all things that were really meaningful to me. And so now I've made a natural skincare line, which is all made in Australia, but it's inspired by ancient Greek practices. The name is actually an ancient Greek word, and that means most beautiful. So I liked the sound of it, but then I also liked its meaning. I didn't think I'd be, first of all, working in a teaching profession at all. I didn't think I'd be opening my own business. So I think between my bachelor's degree and my master's degree, that university period is where I grew a lot. And I traveled after every single semester. I went to so many different countries, had so many different experiences. And I think that really shaped me and allowed me to see the world really differently and to figure out the aspects about myself that I really liked and things about myself I really wanted to work on and improve. And then it's allowed me to be a lot more confident and to be really happy with where I'm at now. I think I'll probably still be working in early childhood. Hopefully, either I'm still working on Callisto or maybe I've pivoted to something else. I think being an entrepreneur, you have to be really realistic with yourself and understand and acknowledge when something's working and when it maybe needs to change or you need to shift to something else. So yeah, I'm really excited. It's just the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey and I don't know where it'll lead, if I might have other businesses, if I might remove this one and do something else entirely. But yeah, it's just been a really great learning journey. Yeah, I think I would just say to them, have the courage to try and also make sure you're speaking to the right people because some people can be really negative and then others are incredibly supportive. And so I think if you surround yourself by a great team, great supporters, great friends and family, then you'll be able to feel confident to try all new things. I do actually. I remember after I finished my 3-4 business exam, I didn't feel very confident about how I went. And I remember I saw my teacher afterwards, Mr. Barry, and he looked at me, and I obviously didn't look very happy. I was a bit nervous, and he said to me, "You know what, Catherine, the sun will come up tomorrow." And that's just something that I've thought about often when things have felt like they're just going really terrible, or I just can't even get through the day, challenges in business or in my work life. And so I've always thought of him and what he said, and every single day the sun did come up. So there's a lot of truth behind that.